What's good? What's good, man? We got Caleb in here. Leave Diggy. What's good with you? What's good? We back with another episode of Rigged NBA. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell. RKO that bell. Hit that bell. Punch it. Code breaker. I don't give a damn what you do, but just hit that like button and that notification bell. Especially if you joining, hit that like button. Yeah, I think I'm gonna let that shit rock. So, a couple games have gone on since the last time we talked. OKC was down 2-1 at one point, giving away a game to the Pacers at Gamebridge Arena, Fieldhouse, excuse me. Game 4, Friday the 13th. It's crazy how the Pacers just allowed the Thunder to win that game, because in my mind watching that game, I was like, there's no way the Pacers going to lose this game. At most, they're going to make it close. No. They just said, fuck it, SGA, you got it. You can do what you want to do out there and get that one tied up, make it a little bit more compelling so it's not a 3-1 slant or a lopsided series for that matter. Game 5, it was pretty much OKC leading for most of the game, double-digit lead. Sometimes Indiana, they cut it to 8. Sometimes they cut it to 4, some shit at 1.2. And I was looking at the score at the 3-minute mark of the game last night. I'm like, they hit that target number 13. And I say that because if I recall, that is the number that they always brought up with the Pacers this postseason making comebacks. It was in the last 3 minutes of the game, if they trail by 13, I think it was like 13 or less or something, they usually come back and win the game. This one was not the case, man. No. There was a time where it looked like Indiana was about to threaten to make it close, cut it to single digits, and after that, it was all OKC again. Soon as Neesmith, I was getting confused, light-skinned nigga. I think it's Nembhard. I always get those two confused. I think Nembhard missed one of the threes. That was pretty much it for them with a little over 2 minutes left in the game. Tyrese Halliburton did not have the best game. The biggest thing was the calf injury was the big storyline. And it was rough, man. It was rough out there. He had some points, but they weren't from shooting from the field. I can tell you that. And like the title say, man, I think them niggas cook, man. Leave Diggy, he thinks they cook too. Samuel stretching, what you saying? Stretching. Said they about to lose on the same day Kobe beat them 25 years ago on Juneteenth. I like that one right there. Damn. Exactly. Tyrese sells and pulls a questionable injury and is always at some point in the playoffs, especially when the series seems to be getting good or is just starting, is a key player for a team that just so happens to get injured or out. And it kind of ruins the overall quality of the series, because it's like, instead of you just having y'all just go tit for tat and however you want to rig it, while still having your stars in the game performing at a high level, it's like, nah, we're just gonna have them hurt, so we watch some dude that we gotta Google as the starting point guard or the starting center or whoever it may be. And I think that's one of the NBA's biggest problems. What up, Daniel Baxter? What's good with you? So the Pacers favored in terms of numerology, or is this predetermined? I mean, that implies both the same things in a way. But no, OKC, I say, is favored more overall in this whole situation. Storyline wise, though, it'd be a much better story if we had Indiana win. You know, the team that everybody doubted every round, and they ended up overcoming the odds of crazy New York fans, double-digit deficits in every series at one point. Excuse me. And all of these things to these bullshit bouncing up in the air 80 feet, bouncing back down, shots to tie the games in the overtime. That's a better story. It paints a better picture that Tyrese Halliburton is having the most clutch performance in playoff history, which is bullshit. But nah, bro, I think they cook. Like I mentioned before, Adam Silver, unless he wisens up, he don't really like to do those 7-game series. We ain't seen one since the LeBron James 3-1 comeback. So it's usually around 5 or 6 games, as much as you're gonna get. and I wasn't sure what it was with the NBA Finals the last few years, probably the last couple years. I just remember watching it a couple years ago, thinking something about this just don't feel like the NBA Finals. And then it hit me when I started hearing certain voices talking and things like that from the broadcast. I was like, oh, I hear Doris Burke. No wonder. Oh, I'm hearing JJ Redick talk. No wonder it don't feel like the finals. And now I'm hearing Richard Jefferson, Doris Burke, Mike Breen, the OG. I'm gonna leave him alone. I like Mike Breen. But the other two, it's like, bro, this make it feel like a Wednesday night regular season NBA game. It does not feel like the finals. They're not putting the logos on the court like they used to, like the big trophy logo in the mid, you know what I'm saying, behind the logo on the midcourt logo. They don't do none of that shit. I don't even think they show the starting lineups like they used to. If they have, I just don't watch it because ESPN's trash. What's good, DJ DG? So you ain't been on here since Chiefs got dog walk. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Say it's a repeat of Kobe Bryant 4-2, exactly. Because when the Pacers was last in the finals, they ended up losing. Guess what? 4-2. Obviously, they played the Lakers. They get the 666th win against the West on Thursday. I know that number was big during the Super Bowl too with the Eagles. They could have got their 666th loss in the Super Bowl. Obviously, it didn't happen or anything, which they'll probably get it first week of the NFL season, maybe the second. Who knows? But no, this series looked like it's over with. And it felt like for a couple games they're kind of shutting out that SGA free throw merchant stuff where he tried to flop and he wasn't getting the calls. That was obviously one of the games they lost. And then they kind of went back to letting them do that and letting the Thunder players harass the absolute hell out of the Pacers. Because I saw a couple Caruso got away with last night. I'm like, all right, so we just not going to call that, okay? We're just going to let it slide. All right. I'm all for physical basketball. But if it's some blatant stuff, it's like, what are we doing here? But we know what they doing here. So I'm going to ask y'all, I think it's still pinned up there. Who do y'all have winning this shit, and are the Pacers cooked? I know one person said they are cooked. I assume Kjuan, I might have butchered the name. Kjuan is on the same page with the Pacers. I assume Nate is with not the Pacers winning, but OKC winning. Assume, Nate, you have the Pacers winning or at least forcing a game 7. Did I see the mayor of OKC announce a new stadium plan for the Thunder in 2028? Go figure. And crazy enough, they actually are kind of due for one. The stadium they in right now, that shit is, over 20 years old. I think it was built in 2003 or something like that. It's been a minute because it had the Hornets before they moved or renamed themselves, the Pelicans. So they trying to make SGA another Kobe? No, they not. There'll never be another Kobe. Same way there'll never be another MJ. I done said this before. Never be another LeBron or nothing. They really need a face, but to make him Kobe, nah, they not trying to make him Kobe. No matter how hard any of these niggas try, it's just gonna come off try hard. But they definitely like the idea that he's foreign, which is one of the biggest things they like to do now is make sure they have a bunch of international players, have that international outreach. He's got that. He's got a clean image to my knowledge. I don't know of any legal issues he has or anything like that. He married, got a kid. So he's safe. He's safe to push. Not saying Halliburton has a bad image or anything like that. But he not foreign. He is light skinned, all that stuff, but he not foreign. So we might see them in the finals again next year. That city's starting to grow because of the team's success. I don't think they go 2 years in a row to the finals. OKC, that is. I don't think so. Playoffs, of course. Finals, I don't think so. I think it's going to be a Denver Nuggets type of situation where they still be there. They'll still be in the mix, but after they win this year, assuming they do win and close it out on Juneteenth, assuming that does happen, it'll be kind of the repeat of that where everyone starts glazing SGA or hating them. Who knows? SGA is going to be the talk for the off season besides the trades and free agent signings, drafting, and all that stuff. It'll carry over the next season for a bit, and then when things kind of hit a status quo for that season, then it'll be more talk about maybe somebody else. Ishmael said the Pacers cooked. SJ put up 30 plus points per game as he's playing like a creative NBA player. The frustrating thing about him is the fact that he can actually hoop. It's just he always does falling down extra shit. Say Pacers in 7. That sacrifice ain't in vain for Jim Irsay. I feel you on that, man. I do. The timing of it is definitely suspect as hell. Right at the beginning of the ECF, he just so happens to pass. Game 1, we saw what happened. Overtime, game over. Indy won that shit. I think they cooked, man. Cage One said this might be their last finals. I assume you're talking about OKC. I assume you're talking about. I don't know. You say, but that Pacers in 7 though. That would be the best storyline, but I don't think it's gonna happen. And again, Adam Silver, he for the life of him, he cannot make a good NBA Finals for shit. After 3-1, that was lightning in a bottle for real. That's really about it. Anything else, he just gonna sit up here knowing the product is trash, talking about this is the best ratings we've seen like ever. I'm like, nigga, no, it's not. This is the best finals up. Nigga, no, it's not. What are you talking about? Why am I seeing so many people saying they don't want to watch the finals if it's so good? And I still say part of that is the lack of overall superstar power in it. But most importantly, because some people say the big market, small market, for the casual fan, sure. It's the ESPN don't do the NBA shitty product any justice either. Because there's a bunch of Stephen A. Smith. We get bombarded with Stephen A. Smith all day. If somebody watches ESPN, you wake up in the morning, what is it? First take, Stephen A. Smith on that motherfucker. Middle of the day, guess what? Stephen A. Smith probably on there talking about some shit on somebody else's show on ESPN. At night, you want to watch an NBA game. Pre-game show, what? Guess what? Stephen A. Smith still there with Malika Andrews and Kendrick Perkins. Like a bunch of unlikable people. They just tired of it. And I think when the inside the NBA moves there, it's going to be watered down. I know I mentioned that before, but it's going to be watered down. And Chuck probably ain't going to be able to talk the way that he was on TNT. Then again, it is Chuck. He don't give a fuck. He probably would say some shit and then he get replaced and then it really go downhill. Do I think Halliburton plays? You think if it's anything worse than a grade 2 strain, he's probably not playing. I'm willing to bet he will play. Worst case scenario is he might not play the full game. He might try to play and then say he quote unquote re-aggravates it and now it's like he out. Both Thunder and Pacers lost in the NBA Finals. Thunder to the Heat, Pacers to the Lakers. One of them will get the first NBA title battle of 2 small market franchises, such as their first NBA banner. Yep. If you betting, I'm sure they have. Maybe, or you an OKC fan. I think you are. I might be having you compete with somebody else, AB. I want to say you are an OKC fan. I don't know. Well, yeah, a lot of the games have been close. It's just the way they got to them close games. Sometimes it's like it takes away the belief. I guess they not selling it well enough. Like the first game, OKC should have blew their ass out, plain and simple. But they let Indiana get back in the game, make it close. Halliburton hit the game-winning shot. OKC game 2, that was a blowout if I remember correctly. Game 3. That was kind of close. Game 4, it was close, but it really shouldn't have been. And then people don't like the free throw fest. I know Rick Carlisle talked about that. One of those games, how it was just a 3-hour game when it really shouldn't even be that long. So ESPN went downhill after Stuart Scott passed. Agreed. After Kerry champion, others moved on. ESPN hasn't recovered. It's really when they went all in on Stephen A. Smith. They said, we gonna make you the the main focal point of ESPN, the main talking head, that's where they fucked up. They tried to get it right a little bit and also tap into I guess a new demographic with the Pat McAfee show, which I guess it's a partnership. It's a little different. It's more like he works with them, not for him. But even then, him and Stephen A don't like each other. And people fatigued on Stephen A. Smith. It's that simple. Especially after this year, he was going back. He beefing with an NBA player and shit for the 1,000th time. People ain't trying to hear that and see that. Talking like he the Godfather and shit. Like, nigga, shut up. So you're a Rockets fan, okay? I don't know who. I know that somebody's an OKC fan besides Derek, of course. But yeah, NBA Finals overall, in my opinion, not a fan. Not a fan. Not necessarily for the teams, but goddamn, bro, it's just the quality, man. It just don't feel the same anymore. SGA always traveling. He ain't the only player always traveling. There's a lot. James Harden with that step back. He got away with traveling for a long time. We know LeBron James, Giannis, traveling and stuff. It's normal now. It's more surprising when they do call traveling. That's how bad it is. I can at least say it's not as bad as WNBA as far as traveling goes. Because I've seen some egregious shit in that one. But NBA, no. The biggest things. Traveling, them not calling traveling doesn't really shock me. But I still think there's way worse things that go on in the NBA than them gonna say getting away with traveling. I think really the flopping, when they get the foul calls and stuff, it disrupts the flow of the game. It makes a game that should have been maybe 2 hours long, not 3 hours. There's no reason for an NBA game to be 3 hours, especially if it didn't go into overtime. No reason for that whatsoever. So the Pacers been playing 5 versus 8 in these playoffs. Maybe it's you, but they have some agenda against Indy for a long time, even though it's a true basketball state. I know NBA usually don't rock with ABA teams and things like that, but I do find that odd, though. Now as you mention it, since that is like the Hoosier state, anytime there's something basketball related, you think of Indiana in a way. You know about the Indiana Hoosiers. Final Four, they always find a way to get back to Indianapolis. It don't matter what feels like every 2 years they back in Indianapolis. This finals is giving you 2022 vibes when Steph and the Warriors went down 2-1 and won 3 straight. Yeah. I don't know if it's because I'm biased, but for some reason when Steph plays in the finals, I'm entertained. More times than not, unless it was super one-sided like when they got Kevin Durant. I'm more times not entertained. When it's a nigga like this who's flopping and shit all over the place, not a fan of it. Halliburton, he doesn't really bother me too much. He does play a really unorthodox style. It is interesting seeing someone who don't play selfishly on a team, but at the same time, it's so weird from his shooting form. Sometimes he'll dribble straight in the middle of the paint, then dribble out the exact same way like his NBA 2K. That shit kind of goofy, but I mean, they play well as a team. Do I see the Spurs pulling the splashes off season with the draft picks and adding key veteran players like Kevin Durant? Keep the wines and check in the locker room, make noise next year. I think they're gonna make a splash of some sort because they done been out the playoff spotlight for a minute, and that's one of them teams that we looked at as a dynasty and all these things like that in the past with Popovich, Tony Parker. So yeah, they are due to make it back in that picture. Like at some point in time, the Jazz gonna make it back in that picture. I don't know if it's gonna be this year, next year, or shit. It could be 5 years from now. Who knows? Were they back in the picture because they was another team that was always in the mix, even when they didn't win. They was always making the playoffs, especially when they had Jerry Sloan. But I did notice Sham's face when Shump mentioned that KD. He was mentioning the teams KD can go to. I think it was Miami, San Antonio, and forgot who the other one was. But anyway, Sham's face, he just kind of looked like he knew some shit whenever he said the KD to the Spurs thing. So Maybe he does. Maybe they get two 7-footers who can shoot on their team. The Twin Towers, if you want to call them that. Maybe, but just know if they got KD, they ain't gonna win shit. Make the playoffs, but they ain't gonna win shit. And to get KD, more times than not, you got to give up your bench to do it. And it's basically what? The Phoenix Suns all over again. But that's when you know shit is bad in the NBA. When people look forward more to the free agency after the season than the actual finals, you have a huge problem with your product. The KD to the Spurs will be nasty, but you're here for it. Fox, Wemby, and KD. That's an interesting mix, though. Like, they definitely be entertaining. But I could see some bullshit happening in the playoffs with Kevin Durant maybe missing shots on purpose, or he let niggas steal the ball from him like he did against the Brooklyn Nets in that one series. Not the Brooklyn Nets, against the Boston Celtics a few years ago, where they just made him look like he was washed. Say Thunder got this one. Yeah, they cook. They cook. Indy, they cook, man. Shout out Soul 10 in the building. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. I know Desmond Bane moving, he made a splat. That was the big deal, even though they gave up a bunch for Desmond Bane. That's crazy. He a good player, but he ain't worth all that. And somehow they made this a talking point, and they spun it to now various NBA players don't feel safe in Memphis. I understand Memphis is dangerous, but I feel like the fact that you got Stephen A. Smith and all these other talking heads on TV going that hard about it, it definitely feels like, okay, you slightly overselling it. Because let's not forget, Chicago, Chirac, that was a thing too. But I never remember the media saying NBA players don't want to play in Chicago because it's so dangerous. And I ain't never heard that shit. Even though I heard the arena in Memphis is like in the hood or close to the hood, not far at all. The Utah Jazz only missed the playoffs twice, but that was only decades ago with Jerry as the coach. Yeah, when they had Quinn Snyder, more times than not, they made the playoffs. And it for some reason, they'd always come up short, no matter how good Donovan Mitchell played. It was always some bullshit happening, whether it be Rudy Gobert, Mike Conley. Some bullshit would happen. Sometimes Donovan Mitchell would be the one committing to whatever would fuck him over. This is Indiana and OKC's last finals. I don't think this will be their last finals ever, but it's going to be a minute. Indy, they still going to be in the picture next year too. OKC, like I said, they're going to be like the Nuggets. They in the mix, but they're going to get bounced in, say, the second round or the Western Conference Finals or something like that. So Memphis' arena is literally on Beale Street. Okay. It said new arena in Memphis or Memphis to Seattle. Leave Memphis the fuck alone. That's what you do. Leave Memphis where it is. They don't need to go back near Vancouver. Leave them there. And really, it's too late now because OKC, they made the finals a couple times. They got multiple MVPs on their team, so they got their own history as the Thunder on top of the Seattle shit. But now there's expansion teams, bro. I don't know what it is with people obsessed with moving teams and shit. But that's what they saying. They got two expansion teams, one in Vegas and one in Seattle. They talked about this years ago. And that's two different coaches to move from Memphis to Seattle. That's two different coaches. And I get Seattle, they thirsty for another NBA team. They got robbed of one for a Midwestern state. Silver wants this done in 6. I wanted it done in 5, bro, just to get it over with. You want this finals finish with? Yeah, it's weird now. It feels like even hockey don't feel like the Stanley Cup Finals, and that shit was actually more entertaining than it's been with the NBA. I don't know if it's because it's all streaming now. It's a little different. I can watch it on Max. I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird. The streaming just turned into fucking TV cable. What's good? GGB Chronicles in the building. Say more NBA teams and put a cap on 3-point attempts. I wouldn't necessarily put a cap on it, because then it just feel too blatantly controlled. Feels like, all right, bro, y'all can only shoot say 10 threes as a team per game. After that, there's no more. Nah. But no, I say 2 more NBA teams, just get it to 32 and you good. From there, if there's some teams that you want to think about moving, I'll be looking at some of them teams that ain't really done shit, and you see a lot of empty seats a lot of the time, and it's not necessarily like a big city. Like, for example, Atlanta, I leave it alone. It's Atlanta. Like, they still gonna have Boosie show up at the game. They still gonna have all these Lil Baby, 2 Chainz, all these niggas show up at the game. But it's a good place NBA players like to go. Kind of like a vacation, even if they gotta play the Hawks. Stockton Malone, someone had a chance to get a ring in Utah. Yeah, they did. But the Bulls dynasty was too much for him to defeat them. What's up, Money Man? Wow, what's good with you? Jason said, well, I think KD going. I think he going to San Antonio. And I feel like no matter where he goes, whether it's San Antonio, Miami, wherever the case may be, we probably going to hear the same type of storylines. We're going to see mid-season. One of his former teammates from another team just so happens to get traded over there, and they're going to lose more. They bench or something like that, and it ends up screwing them over in the playoffs. I can already see it now. And it just fuels that narrative. KD had the ring chase to get them rings. Or what's the other one they like to say now? That KD, adding KD to a team doesn't make you a contender. Which, in a sense, that is actually true, because you got to kill up your bench to get him. But they making it seem like his play is the reason that he's not going to get you over the hump. Silverman, New York and LA teams couldn't get to the finals. He has to do media in the Rust Belt and Tornado Alley instead. Damn, I didn't even think about that, but that's true. Got this man out in the middle of nowhere. Really ain't middle of nowhere, but he got this man out in the Midwest. He's like, shit, I ain't been here since Cleveland. Exactly. Should have never left Golden State. He could have won more chips and rode off into the sunset. Part of it was, him and Draymond Green, when Draymond called him a bitch, that didn't sit well. But also, his whole thing was he acted like it didn't affect the way, people perceived him with his legacy. Because it was like, your rings don't really count because you want to Golden State. That was like the talk. And he kind of wanted to shut that up. Like, I'm going to go to, say, Brooklyn. Win one with Kyrie. Obviously didn't happen. All right, I'm going to go to Phoenix. Win with D-Book. They made it to the finals before with CP. Clearly didn't. Yeah, 100% agree. That man, the Akron man. I like that Akron man. KD should have gave Draymond the 3-piece combo. Shit, him and Poole, both of them. Him and Poole should have gave him them combos. And it's crazy because, mind you, the only player who's played with him this entire time is Steph, since Klay Thompson's not there. And Steph ain't really even checked Draymond Green not once. And there have been times Draymond would crash out, get a tech, and then you could just see Steph like, here go this shit again. Steve Kerr, same thing. Here go this shit again. But they say he one of the most important pieces and shit, which I still think is bullshit. I don't believe that one bit. He played his role, but they act like he the most important. We saw what happened when Steph didn't play and Draymond Green did. And they win less than 20 games. Right at 20, something like that. LeBron, the only person voted to the 2024-2025 NBA season All-NBA team with a minus plus minus for the season. Let that sink in. Yeah, let that shit sink in, man. That's insane. That is insane. But we know ESPN won't say shit about it. Who I got winning the chip next year? I don't know. We're just going to have to sit back, wait until all these free agent moves happen. Players get traded, draft, and things like that, man. Same shit people ask me during the NFL season, like the next day after the Super Bowl, that night after the game. Who you got winning? It's like, nigga, free agency still got to play out, dog. Like, coaches still got to get fired and hired, bro. Like, come on. Say Green no better not to lash on Steph, get his ass shipped off. Send that nigga to the Hornets. Plot twist, Steph sending Draymond on the crash out mission. Steph Curry videos floating around online with him not missing one hand launching the basketball, and it kept going in, and you will see the madness guiding every time in the practice facility. Was this the one, I think a few months ago during the season, well, they had the camera angle, I guess, at the back, and they had Steph like just lob it like this on the other side of the court, really on the other side of the baseline, and they thought it went in, but from another angle it showed it just hit the net and never really went in. Are you talking about that or which one? Because there's so many I've seen with Steph Curry. I lose count at this point. So in the last 25 years, only 5 regular season MVPs went on to win the finals. Also, in the last 25 years, only 2 teams have went on to win the finals without regular season MVPs. Raptors with Kawhi and 2004 Pistons, one of the biggest underdogs in the NBA Finals history. I think the last MVP to do it was Steph, 2015. Win the finals and the MVP same year. So maybe 10 years later, it happens with SGA. What's up, Joey? What's good with you? Bro, he do this every year. He already did it this year. Or I don't know necessarily about this is last season, but he did the whole I'm thinking about retirement, I gotta think about it thing that he does every NBA finals when he's not playing. He doing it this year. It's the same shit as the Brett Favre. For the last really even going back to his time in Green Bay, them last 3 years or so in Green Bay. Every last primetime game he would have, especially if it just happened to be week 17, he'd do them fake tears. I don't know, man, if I'm gonna come back to this game, man. I love this game. It's like, Brett, we know you coming back, bro. You're just gonna pop some more Viking and get back in there. Like, who do you think we are, bro? And Brett was lucky because this was before YouTube and streaming and all that shit too. Let Brett Favre try that shit now. Added with the shit he got going on legally that no one ever wants to talk about. Oh yeah, he would have been dragged through the mud. Draymond is the crash out dispatcher. Draymond don't want no smoke with James Johnson. No, James Johnson will beat the shit out of Draymond. Hell, Isaiah Stewart beat the shit out of Draymond too. If Edwards don't win within the next couple years, we can put that he's MJ's son talk to an end. I think the biggest thing with it is people get hung up on the way he wears his sweatbands and shit, his wristbands, whatever. The similarities in the looks. Possibility MJ could have got someone pregnant in Atlanta, who knows? But I think it's that. But it's also the fact they try to combine it with, since he's quote unquote MJ's son, then it means he must be the next MJ and play like him. Like, no. Look at MJ's other sons. If those Jimmy and Anthony are indeed his sons or whatever. But look at his other sons. Them niggas didn't even make the league. I guess one of them did play with the Pippen, so I guess they have that in common, but that's really about it. You think he's trying to hang on until Bryce gets drafted? Oh, Lord. I think when he hit 42, that's gonna be his last year, or he gonna announce it or some shit. Last few months, okay. They take the Pacers to cover the next game. Boy, if Adam Silver's smart, you better not have that shit be a blowout. Because I can see Adam Silver doing some bullshit like that, knowing damn well it shouldn't be close. But it's like, we're just going to have OKC win by 20. Fuck them. Have them lead by 20 the whole game. Who gives a shit who stops watching after the first quarter? Just fuck it. We're going to have them win. Close it out. I can see him doing that shit, but I do think it's going to be close. The LeBron James farewell tour. Those are pretty common, though, in sports, especially when it's certain players. Like, let's see. NBA, Kobe, he had one. Derek Jeter, he had one for baseball. NASCAR, I think Jeff Gordon got one. Tony Stewart got one. Dale Jr., yeah, he did. Dale Jr. got a farewell tour. So, yeah, if you like a big name, influential player and stuff, and you announce it ahead of time, early enough for the whole season, yeah, you're gonna get a farewell tour. Unless you Paul Pierce, then it's like, nah, nigga, fuck that. I think D Wade, he got one. Carmelo, not so much. They're like, nah, nigga, we just gonna blackball you. Still on contract, he better be out by 42. Retirement's gonna bite him. And with a scandal, yeah. I mean, you start hearing rumblings and talking now. You start hearing the PED talk bubble back up. It's like kind of like a soda. It'll come up and then it'll simmer down, and then whenever he goes on a quote unquote injury, and we know what it is when you got to get retooled, if you will, get an oil change, whatever you want to call it, then the talk comes back up. Then it gets quiet whenever they play in the playoffs, and when he get eliminated, it comes back up again. But ain't shit gonna save his ass when he retired, though. Do I see the Kings going to the finals in the near future? No. You'd rather own the team that draft your son instead of hanging around until 46? Yeah, that'd be weird. I still think that's weird as hell. Like, I'm sure obviously you used to playing basketball with your dad growing up. But it's weird when y'all are like actually teammates and y'all are technically co-workers. It's just weird to me. Like seeing people in jobs, whether it be like corporate jobs and stuff where the mom and daughter work together or the dad and son. I don't know. It's weird to me. If it's more blue collar, I could see the father son thing or the mother daughter. But even then, it's like I wouldn't want to work with my parents. Like at an actual job. Hell no, I wouldn't want to do that shit. Think when the Thunder closed it out, it will solidify next year's winner being a U.S. superstar alternating the 2020s this decade so far. You might be onto something with that. Your fellow Greek Giannis got you excited about the NBA for a few years, but the talk of the max and people chucking threes has you not caring anymore. Yeah, that'll make people lose interest real quick. Like the NBA then really just went so far, I guess, down the deep end with the threes and the analytics. It's kind of hard to go back at this point. It's like the NFL, they try that shit with passing. Trying to just make the running back irrelevant, but then there's these two dudes in the league named Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley that make you reconsider shit. And it's like, oh, maybe we should run the football a little bit more and don't need to pass as much. And defenses start adjusting to that shit too. NBA, it is beyond repair. (2020) LeBron American, 2021 Giannis, 2022 Steph. I don't know why I had them two mixed up. I don't know why I thought Denver won theirs before Golden State won the other one. But 2023 Denver before Tatum, 25 possibly Shaves Canadian. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. 2026 team led by U.S. stars likely to win it. If this does hold up what Soul 10 is saying, I don't know, starting at pins it or whatever, I think it does. Who would be that NBA star to get their next ring, that American star? So I feel like Anthony Edwards is going to be one of the first names that pops up there. Because I do feel like at some point he'll eventually get over that hump. What's up, King Norvell? What's good with you? But at some point, I do think he will get over the hump, and maybe Minnesota fuck around and get a chip. And that'll be the only one he gets with Minnesota. Or a crazy plot twist that nigga ends up going to Boston just like KG. Somewhere down the line. So we'll see how to get a new team next year. I want to say, what's home? Adam Silverfish said that I guess the process of it is going to start after this season. So I don't know if everything is going to be ready. But I would assume it'd be within the next 2 years. I'd have to look more into it as far as, arena and things like that. But yeah, sooner than later, them and Vegas. Said Jot, man, hell no. Unless he go to a different team and just stop doing anything gun related, anything BOMB related, anything grenade related. If he stopped doing all the gun annex and all that stuff, stop acting like a YN, maybe, but nah, not at the current state. Cause shit, this nigga can't even really finish a whole season. He always getting hurt at some point. Tatum's injured. Indy's in the finals now, so you think that excludes Halliburton in likelihood. Not sure who you believe in, but you're looking closely at these teams. And obviously things could change whenever free agency trades happen to some star players. They love those blockbuster trades and signings where you just blink and it's like, how the fuck is so-and-so on this team now? And the trade don't even make any sense. You don't think it's Anthony? I think he just safe enough to get one, but that's it. That's not one of the people they can put a rocket ship to and it's like, all right, we're going to take you and make you a 5-time champion. Oh, no. Because there's really times I've noticed this. Because during the regular season, they like to highlight Anthony Edwards' leadership, especially when they win series in the postseason. He's how mature he is. He's a good leader. And then when they lose, he do some shit where he don't even take full responsibility. And it's kind of like, fuck him type of thing. It's like, there you go again. Acting immature like a YN. That's probably one of my main gripes with him. And he be chucking up way too many goddamn threes. Even though he did shoot the three well, it's just like you should be if you going like 4-20 something from the field or shit from three, if you going 2 for 15, you really shouldn't be shooting threes. Fuck that. Really at 2 for 10, you should stop shooting threes. And just because you win don't necessarily make you the face of the league. Because at this point, it's clear the NBA doesn't have a clear-cut face of the league in place. So just because you win one, like Joker clearly wasn't the face of the league. Giannis was kind of more of a test one. They could try to work with him. He had a personality. He international. Checks multiple boxes. So really, it's damn near they want to force the LeBron thing. Steph Curry's still there. But they really don't have a bona fide face of the league right now. So just because Tatum won last year, he damn sure ain't the face of the league. People don't rock with Tatum like that. That nigga ain't got no personality. SGA, same thing. He really ain't got no personality. Ain't the face of the league. So right now it's just a revolving chair. Or what's the word? In wrestling, they would say a transitional champion. So all Denver, transitional champion. Milwaukee, transitional champion. Golden State, exception to the rule. Because we know they won multiple before that. Toronto, transitional champion. Kawhi damn sure wasn't the face of the league. He's a little bit more interesting because of his quirky personality and shit, and he'll break out of that robotic what's the word I'm looking for? Robotic mannerism and show some personality, so it sticks out or whatever. But no, there's no current face of the league. So it's just a bunch of transitional champions. I think the one they would like to push as the face is Wemby. But obviously, can't finish a full season. And the Spurs ain't made the playoffs since they got him. So until he actually shows up, he not really in that conversation just yet. Because if you remember, during the Olympics, they made it a point to showcase Wemby and France. And they know, America being patriotic, gonna tune in to the game, the gold medal game that was. And it's like, okay, we got America against who? France. Who's on that team? Oh yeah, Wemby. Killed two birds with one stone. To maybe Brunson and Cat. I always think of a meme, a Cat, every time I see his name. Anytime I just see Karl Anthony Towns, I think of one of the memes. One of them zesty memes. But the Knicks, yeah, nah. The Knicks showed y'all who they were this year. They exceeded expectations, but they showed y'all who they usually are. Yeah, they trying to get a new start. Kind of what they did before they got Ja and the team they, I guess, had at this point with Triple J, Desmond Bane, at the time Dylan Brooks. Yeah, they pretty much doing that. That's why they ended up having Jenkins up out of there. They already had their guy in place. Kind of like Denver, same thing. Except they didn't go to the point they just purging players off their roster, but coaching staffs and things like that, yeah. And Memphis does this a lot, if you notice. They always hit the reset button. They go through some years where they are just terrible and unwatchable. And then they finally get the right pieces, and then slowly but surely they climb back up in contention. And then the trauma comes back again, and it's back to square one. And it always starts with them firing a coach that shouldn't have been fired. So you don't think any big from this era gonna have more than two rings? If you can shoot, you can. If you play like Rudy Gobert, probably not. Taylor bitch humiliation in full effect next season. But the league really let the Knicks win it all? No, they generate so much money they don't need to win shit. Yeah, except Knicks fans, with the exception of this year, maybe last year, they not every year saying it's our year. Unless I miss something, unless y'all know some people in New York City that really think that way every year, even in the years they was trash. No, Cowboys fans, they really think every year is their year. Knicks fans, they head and got a little bit bigger now, but they not like the Cowboys. The fans that think is their year every year in the NBA is the Lakers. And I really want to put the Sixers in there too. Especially after the whole tanking thing and they started winning and stuff. Yeah, the Knicks was not the Knicks, the Sixers was in that situation. Oh yeah, they got Jason Kidd now. If I want for Braun's existence, you would say Money Mitch and the Cavs, but you don't think Cavs will be allowed prosperity for a long time. Yeah, winning one from a 3-1 comeback, they don't want that outshine anytime soon. He said same with the Bulls too. Yeah, it's like certain things they want to keep to certain players. Like for example, if you never watched Kobe growing up, you were too young or whatever it may be. The 81-point game. That's when you think Kobe dropped 81 points against the Raptors. Or if you don't know who they play, just know the nigga scored 81 points in a basketball game. And if he won some championships, obviously he had a 3-peat. He played with Shaq. Michael Jordan, 2 3-peats. That's the thing we know him for. Robert Horry, obviously big shots, but 7 rings. That's really about it. LeBron, 3-1 comeback and some stat padding bullshit. The NBA has no charismatic stars like wrestling. It's weird. They do, but I guess they not stars. It's the role players that got more personality. That's the thing about the NBA. Like they star can have no personality, but the teammate or two does that kind of counterbalances that. Still wouldn't make the star player a face of the league though. I think they got lucky with Giannis. So we'll probably settle on two-face, the U.S. and the international star. Yeah, if he's smart enough to think like that. Would the NBA make Wemby the new face of the league and bring a few championships, but the Spurs got 5? You don't see the league giving the Spurs 4 more. I ain't say he got to win that many. Shit, he can win 3 and be good. Hell, at this rate, 2. Spike Lee does qualify as a Knicks fan like that. Yeah, that's true. Said superstars don't win chips anymore. Great built teams do, which is better. I feel like it's been like that for a minute though, for the most part. A lot of the teams that win, if you look at the way their team's constructed, they got all the pieces. And then when they lose just 1 or 2 pieces, the next year they just fall short. And always be with whatever those 2 players they were missing from the previous season, whatever they contributed, just so happens to be missing from that team. And the announcers tend to comment on it like, oh, if they had so-and-so from last year on the finals team, they'd be winning, but now they don't have so-and-so. So the NBA made the Knicks fans spoiled thinking they're going to win a chip soon. Yeah, that ship sailed. This was their best year. Didn't happen. Would it be crazy idea to see Cooper Flag win a ring in his rookie year? He'd be the next American thing you can see the league pushing. Hey, that's a good great white hope of theirs, for sure. And he American too. Yeah, Americans get behind that shit. I mean, look what happened with Caitlin Clark. They get behind that shit. But they could also use him as a tool for them race debates and shit they like to do on ESPN, like the Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. It was like, you know damn well Caitlin Clark is a better player than Angel Reese. But at the same time, Angel Reese trash. But they still try to make it seem like it's a race thing. Like, no, motherfucker, one is clearly better than the other. That's what that is. And I can see them doing that with, say, Cooper Flag and I'm trying to think of a black big. I'm trying to think of one that's American. I don't know why I can't think of them. All the ones I can think of, they foreign. But say Cooper Flag and I'm just going to pick somebody. Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum or some shit. Or Anthony Edwards. Like, which player is better? Say Cooper Flag had a better year, better seasons. Like, is Cooper Flag surpassing Anthony Edwards as a better player? And then Perk or some dumbass on ESPN gonna be like, see, they trying to push the white player over the black player, and it's gonna be a whole thing. Or shape-shifting eyes Ryan Clark gonna say some stupid shit. To teams to win Game 5 of the NBA Finals that was tied to have a record of 23-8. If OKC wins Game 6, it's 24-8. And that series outcome, potential series outcome, 4-2. 4 times 2. Damn, you get 8. Flip it, you get 24, like Kobe. You add them up together, it's 6. Just like 4 plus 2. That's a crazy stat though, for real. To need Giannis with the Spurs, trying to see him and Wemby. Bro, I know this is not going to happen. This is some 2K GM shit. Imagine if they got Giannis, Wemby, and KD on the same team. Obviously, I turned off the salary cap. That shit is off. I have full control over all the trades if this shit did happen. Imagine that team, bro. You got one big who can play well, I guess all 3 of them can play defense. 2 of them that's really good at defense. They'll block everything. One of them can't shoot, but he can posterize somebody. The other one, he can shoot. The other one being KD, he can shoot. And all 3 of them can posterize people, but that'd be unfair as hell. Only problem is Giannis dribbling. That'd be their weakness. So if Giannis ends up in San Antonio, they got to give up someone and play. Hell yeah. That'd be an interesting landing spot if he did go there, though. Because it's funny because you think about the Spurs, they were kind of known for being like the pioneers of the international NBA team, I guess, where they had, all the foreign players from Manu, Tony Parker, Boris Diaw. The list goes on throughout the years of all the players. It would be interesting they added one more to the punch. Man, I said Kobe won his first one on Juneteenth, which you can connect to what started. I don't remember where it is. To what Nate said about the Game 5 and the 24-8 thing. And the Pacers' last result in the finals was 4-2, which they lost. Spurs got draft pick and young players to make a move, get bro out of Milwaukee. I mean, he won out anyway. The SGA gonna close out on 4-2 on Juneteenth. I think I might have read that one already. Wemby and Greek Boy would be another Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan 2.0. Oh man, everything getting sent. And imagine if you had Chris Paul. Obviously, he ain't in his prime like he was with the Clippers. That would be crazy lobs, man. You got Wemby and Giannis. Boy. With nobody else win with KD and Giannis. For real, yeah, that shit really would not be fair. All right, I'm finna slide up out of here in the next 2 minutes. Top this one off at an hour. So in the last, what was that, minute, 40 seconds? What you got? Pacers will win game 6, betting on it. Your words, not mine. There's like a small part of me that would like it to go 7, but then there's like a 98% of me. It's like, just get this shit over with. Just get the finals over with. And if you have not done so, hit that like button. Smash that like button. RKO that like button. Sweet Chin Music that like button. Is that Thunder? Yeah, it is Thunder. No OKC. But yeah, hit that damn like button. When be tall enough to not bother to jump to dunk or do late. It's like that tall white girl. I think she play. I don't know if she in high school or college, right? I think she's going to college. That tall one ain't got to do shit. Still lacking athletically a little bit, but that's besides the point. Wemmy's an Iron Giant on the court. That's a good movie too. Yeah, he is. SGA dropped 40 plus and win game 6. It'd be something if somebody dropped 42 points. I'm gonna say that again. It'd be something on Juneteenth if a player, whether it be J-Dub, whether it be Halliburton, whether it be Siakam, whether it be Nembhard, whichever one was shooting a shit ton of threes. I get them two confused all the time. Nembhard and Neesmith, whichever one of them it was, or SGA or Chad, whoever may be, dropped 42 points on Juneteenth. That'd be a motherfucker. All right, this is the last one. Have I seen this Drew Hirschman kid that has this $13 future champion parlay? He needs the Thunder and Oilers to win it all to win $270,000. Whew. Nah, I ain't heard about this. That's an interesting number though. And from the looks of it, one of them can win. The other half don't look like it's hitting right now. But we'll see, man. So y'all stay tuned. Keep that bell rung for the next stream. Y'all have a good night.